Good morning again, guys, and welcome here in Institute of Crypto Anarchy stage. Very happy to welcome here Dimi, because when we had last talk about last speakers about the missing places in Congress, so we had like 30 guys there, and I saw Dimi there, and I was very happy to give him my vote. So I think maybe a little bit that's because you are here, and I hope you are also happy as me that it was Dimi who made it here in the final. And this speech will be about designing anonymous applications, right? I think exactly for Monero. So please welcome Dimi.
So hi, I think I'll stand here because I'm too big for the stage. And so hi, I'm Dimi, m2049r. I'm the developer of Monerujo. And before I start, do you know what that is? Okay, who knows what Monerujo is? Okay, who knows what Monero is? Okay, excellent. There's potential. Does this work? Excellent. Sorry. This is the agenda. I'll be talking about privacy, anonymity. What does that mean for me and for our team in developing this application? Because in the Monero context, it's important for us. What is open source software? Why are we doing it this way? What problems are we dealing with that? And then the Monerujo development itself. What does the team look like? How do we work only in basics? User feedback, support. Being an app for an anonymous audience is a bit of a problem, which is basically the topic of this talk. And what principles do we use in developing and designing this? And what are the current challenges that we're dealing with right now? So let's go on with privacy. I really get asked this a lot when I talk to my friends, like, well, you want to have a private cache? And, well, what do you have to hide? Why do you have something to hide? And I try to convince them for a long time. In the end, it boils down to the last sentence. Do you have doors in your house, or do you have curtains or something like that? But the long story is, of course, privacy is the ability to keep something to yourself, okay? And it's a basic human need, and it's also a basic human right. And if you think about privacy as not hiding stuff, but protecting things, which is basically the same thing. And when you ask the question, do you have something to protect? One will find something. Yourself, your family, data, all kinds of stuff. So yes, we want to protect stuff. So there's this concept of being pseudonymous, basically means using a fake name. It doesn't matter what name that is. And it's just one piece of the puzzle to being anonymous. And I like the GDPR definition, which I'll read for you. Something is synonymous when personal data can no longer be attributed to a specific data subject, a person, without the use of additional information. I've got an example. Someone sends me an email to the support of Monerujo, and they're talking to me about the problems, and we just exchange emails, and it's, well, no, johnsmith17@gmail.com. I have no idea who that is. But if I go ahead and buy the Facebook data breach, I can check johnsmith17@gmail.com, and then I know who that is. So this is the use of additional information. That's a bit the difference. I think a lot of people don't actually understand this. Yeah. Okay. Anonymity. Anonymity is different than privacy. You don't want to hide that something has happened. You do something in public, like voting, but you want to protect yourself, so you don't want people to know that it was actually you, what vote you cast exactly. Dread Pirate Roberts, we all know, was anonymous for a long time. And that's my problem with anonymity. And that's the problem we have with developing the app, is that at some point, anonymity is not sustainable. You make a mistake somewhere in the future. And then at that point, maybe in 10 years, you make a stupid mistake and everything backwards gets unraveled and everything you have done under the pseudonym becomes open. Okay? Or maybe even worse. Oh, and of course, all the tedious construction of this identity and like hiding things, protecting things, being very careful to use all kind of anonymization networks. It was just for nothing because, well, it's open. Or maybe even worse, you made this mistake right at the beginning and then someone finds it later on. So then it was completely pointless because, well. So I think that as soon as you have some data, you can't keep it anonymous for a prolonged for a prolonged time. So that's why in Moneruyo we just take the approach that we just don't collect any data whatsoever, as long as we can avoid it. That I don't have any issues about trying to anonymize it, pseudonymize it, whatever. All right. Free open source software, free as in freedom. Send us money, we have no problem with that. The code is open source, you can read it, you can check it, you can do all kinds of weird stuff with it. It also means, because it's open and anyone can contribute, it also means that no one needs to contribute, which means the developers can just abandon it or change projects or do other stuff. Happens all the time with open source projects, of course. It's nothing bad. It encourages collaboration because you just see everything. And if you want to create something, you can put an idea out there and people who find this idea interesting can help you implement it in all sorts of ways. It does not need to be code. Monero and Moneruyo are open source under quite free licenses. So check it out on GitHub. GitHub is Microsoft now, so there might be a change in that hosting system soon, maybe, we'll see. Where am I? I pressed the wrong button, sorry. So the open source, my issues with the construct, actually I should start at the bottom of the slide. Everyone relies on someone else with open source. So like, oh, it's open source, it must be secure, everyone has reviewed it. Not a lot of people review stuff really in its entirety. Maybe a project like Monero, which has much more developers and bits of it and people looking at different aspects of it, yes, they have been reviewed more, but Moneruyo has not been reviewed. I don't know about it. Of course, there are different developers who find different things in the code and they ask about it. And it's more actually in the direction of design choices than actual code not working or not being secure or this kind of stuff. Yeah? And when someone says, oh, someone should audit it, no one pays for the audit. So will someone notice if code is not published? It was very interesting for me to deploy the app, so you actually have it on your phone, and I just forgot for a week to upload the actual code. No one noticed, no one asked, well, we have a new version, but where's the code for it? Yeah. Another thing which happened last year was I uploaded the code and everything and the APKs to GitHub, but I forgot obviously to change the hash values of the APKs with which you check that the signature is correct and that Microsoft or whoever hasn't tampered with this APK. No one has noticed this, okay? So yes, we provide all the data so you can verify the stuff, but everyone realized that some experts somewhere will do this. Monero, for the couple of people who didn't show up that they know what it is, really basically, for me, it's just an alternative to cash, meaning, I think Binary Fate said it yesterday pretty well. We're going back to what we've had for thousands of years, but now it's digital. So basically, these are the three basic features from your Monero, meaning a third party looking at the blockchain cannot see who paid how much to a receiver. You look at it and it's like, okay, there's stuff happening, but you have no clue as to why this is or what it is. And it's all thanks to like really crazy voodoo maths, which I don't understand. Moneruyo, we have a mission. Our mission is to put the best money invented so far in the hands of as many people as possible. So it is a coincidence that we're doing this on Android, which has 70% market share for mobile devices. But the actual reason is I can't do iOS. I don't know, it's a jail for me. So it's good that this is our mission. And we believe, of course, that Monero is this best money invented so far. So there's that. The core team is just me, one developer, hacking away in my free time, maybe 20, 30 hours a week. And we have two really, really excellent UI, UX specialists, Gustav and Andres, who are in Sweden and Argentina. So we collaborate over messaging and Mattermost and all kinds of stuff like that. We do have, and of course, Diego Rerar is a very respected Monero community member, and when he has time, does a bit of web stuff and coordinating stuff, and we're very thankful that he actually brought us together. We have a jour fixe every week where we talk and discuss matters for maybe 1 to 2 hours, where we need to discuss if we want to go in some direction or not. How do we want to deal with issues that have come up or suggestions that have come up when someone posts something on Reddit and says, we need this feature, then we talk about it. How important is this feature really? What do we think about it? There are 16 languages already translated, most of them fully. Some have a bit of holes in them, but there are 20 plus translators who are actually getting into this project and translating it into 16 languages. I hope we get a 17th language soon, which is the pirate speak. I don't know if you heard that the GUI has been translated into pirate speak. I really want that here because that's our spirit. There are very few actual real code contributors. They come and go. It's really interesting for me, and they help me a lot when something does happen, so you're invited. I am very rigorous when I come to reviewing other people's code. I'm very also thankful to people who look at the issues which come up on GitHub and actually respond. Say, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Is this a real issue? That kind of stuff, and maybe coordinating. Because as I said, we're very few people. So if some of you want to work on here, please, this would be a great help. And again, a couple of reviewers, but basically not. Why Moneruyo? Why are we doing this? Andres has put it pretty well, saying, I think Monero is a step in the right direction, and I felt like contributing to its widespread use is something I can be proud of when I'm old. So I think we are already proud of it. I've got a gray beard, he doesn't. So that's the kind of thing. And then there's the strong privacy projects like Tor, I2P, Cofre, Monero, whatever, contribute more in the times of mass surveillance, companies, governments, whatever. Kijev was also one of the first to come to Moneruyo. He did a lot of the help files. Now he's moved on, I think, to the Loki project, which is a fork of Monero. All right. So, Google is great. Google is great because it spies on you and I don't have to. Okay? So I can go in the Google console and see what's going on, thanks to all you not opting out. 20 minutes? This will never work. Basically, so I'll just speed it up maybe. We have about 13,000 installs on active devices. 10,000 of them are really the current version, so we know we have 10,000 users. And well, it's growing, and there's the GitHub, and that's this. GitHub, the Play Store. We have our own F-Droid repository you can connect to with everything is signed and published. We don't have the real F-Droid yet. I'm not sure we'll do that. We have to get it working first, the reproducible build there, but I don't know if that's something which is going to happen because I'd like to sign my own app. So the users expect anonymous stuff, and we want to support this. As I said, we don't believe that if we have data, we can treat it well so hackers and whoever can't steal it, so we just don't collect it as much as possible. We don't want to do analytics. We are not doing any surveys. We just see what the actual active feedback is. So we don't have a passive feedback. When the app crashes, the people have not opted out of the Google surveillance report to Google, and we get, or I get, pretty good reports, and then I can see what's going on because there's a lot of different hardware, there are a lot of different Android versions out there, and we can test all we want, but on my Samsung it just works perfectly, and then the next guy gets it on a Huawei something and it just doesn't with Lineage OS, whatever. So the bottom thing is extremely useful for noticing obscure bugs, and the bugs are representative here because they're independent of the privacy awareness. The app doesn't care if you like privacy or not, it just, well, it crashes. Next. So we want to avoid anything centralized. Even things like nodes, we don't really want to have nodes because we don't want to log people talking to us. Of course, it would be great to have the app talk to some server somewhere as soon as you turn it on, because then I would know how many people use it, how many people use it for spending. Do they first look at their account, then they spend, or what they do with it, all these kinds of inner app analytics is just not what we do. We just believe that we're doing the right thing, and if we're not, we are expecting to get feedback, which is the bottom line here. We have no user feedback, no one complained. Okay, this is our premise. So if you guys don't like something, please complain. Anywhere. We're open, so you can complain on Reddit, and it's fine. Please don't post your seeds or some stuff like that, and don't send me emails with your seeds. The emails that we get are, all of it is basically no troubles, can't connect, it's not synchronized, I can't get out of my Wi-Fi because my school prohibits port 18081, whatever. Run your own node, it's easy, it's not well documented, so if one of you wants to document that, please, just a one-click installer would be great for this. 15% is really, and this is a huge number, I lost my seed, I lost my password, and I didn't write down my seed. The guys who haven't heard of Monero, write down your seed, but you probably are used to Bitcoin, write down your seed anyway. And 5 are other hardware, Android version related issues. Watch this video. It's a 1 hour, 5-minute loop of Andreas saying, your keys, your Bitcoin, not your keys, not your Bitcoin. Guys, it applies to Monero as well. So for the people at home, do this. All right, testing, how do we test? We don't really test in a scientific way, we try it out. So I know what testing means, and we don't do that because we don't have the resources. We have like 11 alpha testers, so when we have code, we push it out to them, they try it out. We look at the Google Analytics, which is really good there for the crash reports, what's going on. We do have 907 beta testers, so when we put something on the beta track and you've registered for it, which is open for anyone to register, you get the bleeding edge version, which sometimes has some bugs, but I don't think we've had anything ever serious, but I don't know. We've talked about that. Doesn't matter. Does this work? Just a short thing of what this Google stuff really gives you. It's fantastic. You see the kind of errors you get. Doesn't matter. What's important is how many times does this happen. So there were 6 reports here, and how many users were impacted. So if I see that 5 users are impacted out of 10,000, then I can sort of take my time to look at this. This first one is actually people pulling out the ledger device while it's doing something, so I can ignore this. Yeah. This is what you get, all kinds of log messages from the app, or the error messages. When the crash happens, are stripped away by Google, so I can't report your password, your seed, to the Google server, and they don't tell me. All right, never mind. So the UI UX, which is the basic topic of this. We also have a mission there, which is to hold the user's hand through the whole process without knowing how stupid they are. It's not that the user is stupid. They're by definition not stupid because they're using Monero. So we're just trying to find the right level. We want to code for security and ease of use at the same time, which is a bit of a physical problem, as you see on the diagram, but I think we're doing a pretty good job. Crazy Pass, maybe you've heard of it. We had in the beginning some issues reported that the key files that are on the device are in the public storage. Any app can access them, stuff like that. We should put them in internal storage. Long rants from people who are correct. And in the end, I ended up inventing something which uses the secure features of Android to encrypt your password, which on a mobile device is 0 to 8 characters maybe, which can be normally hacked in milliseconds by a calculator probably. And so this creates a password with which the key files are encoded, and this password is 256-bit security. So it is as strong as your actual seed. In order to hack your wallet in Monero, it's the same probability as hacking your actual seed. Okay. We want to find the right mix, as I said. We don't want to make things too complicated. If it's too complicated, people don't understand it, they make mistakes, they screw up, and it's just no good for anyone. We want to have defaults which are on the safe side. We want to have a definition of what the app is about, and we want to do that well. So we don't want to have options. I hate a settings page where you set something and it has an effect somewhere completely different in the app, and then you have to go all the way back and change it because you don't like it. We don't want to do that. If you want to do complex stuff, like sending to 2 addresses in 1 transaction or to 50 addresses, please do it in the command line client, please do it in the RPC. A company will not use this app to pay salaries. Okay, this is for you buying apples and beer. Okay. Of course, then the advanced users say, but I want to like change this, and I want to change this, and I want to change my my ring size and whatever. It's like, okay, do it somewhere else. It's not necessary. This depends on what it is, of course, and this is exactly the kind of things that we discuss with the team every Monday. Help texts are necessary. No one reads them. At least we can reference people, like, please read the manual. Thank you. But we do explain as well, so it's not like, go away. Warnings, also no one reads them. But maybe they read them the first time because they're so ugly and like, what does this want from me? So that's our hope. We have, of course, the same app for a complete noob to Monero to the total experts, which of course is a problem in the way you design this. So when we're like looking at features to do, we have to like pretend to be new to this, and we also have to pretend to be like super expert. And usually we ignore the super expert bit a bit because it's just too much and too heavy. We've talked a couple of times about creating 2 versions of the app, one for the super users and one for the really simple, only defaults, 1 wallet. I don't want to do that. So we have the same UI UX for all user levels, which is very difficult. So this is a lot of discussion, a lot of design. We use a collaboration tool for drawing the screens and to draw the workflows to figure out, okay, a normal person would go this way. What would a new user think about this? Will they figure out that they have to press on the next, or and an expert, would they just go crazy with thousands of warnings popping up all the time? So that's the problem. So the anonymous user, we don't have any data from him or her or whatever's in between, and we can't ask them. So the answer today is we are doing our best to accommodate exactly this way of working and to imagine what people would like. It's very good that we do actually get feedback. We get feedback by emails like, oh, it's a great app, but I have a suggestion, this and this and this. Yeah? And then we go and we put it on Tiger. Tiger is also used in Monero to manage tasks. We have a Tiger project for Moneruyo, which anyone, you don't need to register, you can like look at what is the backlog, what are the things that we want to do at some point, and you can see also the status of implementing this. So when you see, oh, this is a really cool idea, be it on GitHub, Monero, whatever, I take it and I just put it there, like this is something we want to do, this is cool. Yeah. All right. Challenges, I really wanted to implement multisig. So I spent a week maybe doing that. It is quite easy. Technically, I can implement it by 6 o'clock today. It's not a big deal. The big deal is getting the user to understand what is this about, what does this mean to me, and how do I exchange the data, because then use foreign public nodes, which may or may not upgrade, which may or may not upgrade at the same time as the user. The probability that they will upgrade at the same time is 0, because it's someone like, okay, I'll compile it or download it and run it. And this RPC interface doesn't work in either direction, so it really has to be at the same time. So there will be a time around from now to in 2 or 3 weeks where you will be getting errors saying, in the current version, it's a really stupid error. It says username, password is incorrect. And if you update to the new version, which will be coming out this week, you get a more sensible error message like version mismatch or something like that. We still need to term that so people understand what's going on. Yeah? We have no serious solution to this. Why is it so great? Because the people involved are great and the community is great, and we have the community backing for this. And the team is great. Those 2 designers are just incredible. They produced this in like 2 minutes. Anonymous users means a very high effort is needed to create and maintain a good app. But since we're doing this mostly out of ideological reasons, it's definitely worth the effort for us. We love doing this. We really love doing this. And I hope you can see that in the app. So get your ass on GitHub and help out. Review, check the documentation, which of course is always outdated, so like fix it. Test it. This issue coordination is also very important. It really takes a lot of load off our backs, be it on the Moneruyo subreddit or on GitHub or Stack Exchange as well. And if you like what we're doing, well, send us money. Here, we code for XMR. Thank you.
Thank you, Dimi. We have plenty of time to discuss this topic a little bit more. So if you have any questions, raise your hand. I will give you a microphone.
One question. Ah, excellent.
Perfect.
Thank you.
You said that there are some problems with implementing multisig. Are they like purely UX issues or more like, because you said that the core developers will work on that?
My problem is how do I exchange the UX we can figure out after we figure out how do I communicate the secret information I need to share between the co-signers, well, in a secure way. So, for example, we could say you first have to exchange PGP signatures, feed them somehow into this Monoruyo, which is a UX nightmare, of course, and then we could send encrypted emails to the different partners with all the multisig data. So that's the problem. How do we exchange this information? As soon as we know how we exchange this information, if, for example, we exchange this information through Covery, I2P, whatever, between the different nodes, then this problem is solved. But then I also don't need to deal with it because I just say, here's the message A, B, C, and we coordinate the data this way. So it's depending on what the communication mechanism is, we need to take that mechanism and put it in the UI so that it is invisible. I don't want to know that data is being exchanged because I have no choice if I use a multisig. Yeah, I don't need. Why should I send emails to people or I don't know WhatsApp my transaction key images? So yeah, depends on what the solution is, and we want to hide it completely so there is no UI, just the UX.
I recall that long time ago the discussion about like mobile wallet for Monero was a lot about like computational intensity, and I would like to ask.
Is about, sorry?
Computational intensity, and I would like to ask like if I'm going to use this wallet for let's say some daily payments in some stores which accept it, what does it do to my battery? Can I use it actually intensively, or are there any issues?
No, there are no issues. It's a good question to which I have no answer. I have never heard anyone saying it is depleting my battery. What some people used to say is it is eating up my data, my mobile data. Of course, if you need to scan the whole blockchain, if you go ahead and you say, I'm restoring a wallet from seed because I take it from my PC and I want to create a new wallet here, and I scan from the Genesis block, you need to download a lot of data to parse it, okay? So that's an issue, of course, and then your data cap comes in and all that stuff. But if you remember or write down, when you write down your seed, you write down your first block, then you don't have this problem. And if you do it over your own Wi-Fi, you should be safe. I've not heard of any, once you're synced, nothing really happens. It doesn't do anything. Yeah? It just, there is a communication, of course, with the transaction pool, but you don't notice it. It does not get warm, let's put it that way.
Hi, thanks for the talk. Do you have any mitigations? Maybe I missed something. Do you have any mitigations against, like, say, problems at the borders, or somebody forces you to unlock your phone? So, say you're going to New Zealand or Australia or America, and bad guys, three-letter agencies want to see what you've got.
No, but as I said, with this crazy pass stuff, if you uninstall the app, it erases all your keys. Your wallet files are left on the device, so they know that you're doing stuff, but no one can, even if they take it and copy it, they cannot open up your wallet. So it's a side effect of that. Yeah. So no, we were thinking about that. We were thinking about making the phone explode by using a lot of power. No, but not directly. But if you uninstall it, which is also a warning, if you like want to uninstall and reinstall the app, your keys will get destroyed, which does not matter because you have written down your seed. Yeah. Or you have written down the restore password, which is also on the same screen. And with this restore password, you can also use your wallet files. You can transfer them to your PC and use them there. Just you have a 52-character password. But it's sort of a side effect of that, but we don't have we've discussed that. We don't have a serious solution or proposal for a solution for this, yeah.
Just to follow up, something a little bit less sophisticated, like it not being in the home screen or not being in the app list. Do you have any possibility of something like that?
If you don't want it on the home screen, don't put it on the home screen. If it's, yes, we could, of course, like some apps like write something else, so you can even enter the name of the app it should be, and you can pick the icon. Yes, we could do stuff like that. The question is, what is the process at this border? What happens? I understand a lot of these border controls, they actually copy your phone, then it doesn't matter what it's called. Yeah. Yes, we could put effort in it, but I think, I don't know, we should put our effort in other cool stuff. Yes, but if this is a real mitigation, then of course it's something we should do. Yeah, thanks.
Hello, Dimi.
Hi.
I think a very important UX feature that you left out is the fact that you recently implemented NFC ability into Monerujo. It means that you can use our HCPP badges with Monerujo very easily.
Yes, you can. I even have it on my badge somewhere. I've programmed into the black button. The black button, when you press the black button, it gives you the donation address of Monerujo, so you can donate with your, well, you can donate with my badge. Yes.
And the second part of my kind of comment is that you do have to be just a bit careful, because it's easy to overwrite your Bitcoin information on the badge if you're not careful
Yes,
with Monerujo.
please don't press the wrong button when you're rewriting your badge.
Right, so be careful.
Write down your seed, also applies to Bitcoin. Maybe one security feature which I didn't say, we implemented recently a couple of weeks ago, the open alias protocol, which is basically a DNS TXT record of a Monero address or a Bitcoin address. One function also of Monerujo is that we have a connection to XMRTO, so you can actually pay downstairs, even in the bar, with Monero. The minimum is 3 beers, though, because there's a lower limit for the exchange. And exactly, I was saying open alias, and the interesting thing about open alias as well, since it uses DNS servers, you can use DNSSEC, which is a secure way to use DNS. So the record is signed, and the actual Monerujo app has code inside which verifies these signatures. So you can also donate to monerujo.io, and you'll get exactly the same data. Yeah.
So first of all, thanks for the talk and thanks for the app. I love it. Couple questions. Will there ever be an option like I open my wallet on Monerujo and then the balance is always displayed? Will there be an option for me like for the balance not to be displayed by default? So like imagine you're paying some coffee in somewhere. You just don't want prying guys looking into your wallet's balance.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Okay.
Because forever, will there ever be is a long time.
Yeah, forever.
I understand the need for that. I see the need for it here as well. Yes, it's also, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Another question. I understand why you don't want to port it to iOS though, but are you guys consider porting it for like desktop as well, or even when the Librem comes out with like?
We have looked, or I have looked into the porting to iOS. Basically, you need to rewrite it because it's just complete. This is all completely native Java code. It just, you can't port it. I opted in the beginning to use really native code and not some framework which does for both, because it's just a compromise and it just works badly on both devices. I don't like that, especially because it uses the core C Monero code. So this is just a front end to Monero, if you will. And there's also a lot of threading which goes on, so you can't really do it in one of those frameworks. At the time, I haven't done too much research on that. And what was the second question?
Desktop.
The desktop. I also looked at how to do this on the desktop. That would be also a rewrite, but here I can use Java, and I can reuse a lot of the back-end stuff which interfaces to Monero. Yeah, so will it ever happen? Probably it might, but yes, not right now. Yes, we have researched these kind of things, and there's so much still to do, and when we're finished doing it, which will probably be never, we can do things like that. Or basically everyone uses Librem and Purism and whatnot, then of course we would be more interested in supporting those people.
Thank you.
Okay, we have plenty of time for more questions now. I think like 5 minutes. So just think about it, because I would like to also ask. Yes, then I'll give you a word. About distribution. I think Monero is something that could be easily distributed without Google Store. Maybe I'm wrong, but you can tell us how many % of people like downloaded it directly from a store, and how many from some direct link?
No.
Okay.
Because we know in the Google Store that there are, whatever, 13,000 downloads. Well, more the active installs, the downloads are much more. And the other links are not traced. So we don't know that at all, which is also a bit of a problem. It could be 100,000, I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. 10 million people, I think so as well. Yeah. So that, of course, means that a lot of people are writing down their seats because I only get one per week. Yeah. So at some point this will happen, yeah, I'm sure. So sorry, I don't know, which is, I think, a good thing that we don't know too much. Yeah,
Yeah, sure, agree. Another question?
Okay, so for multisig, you said that you don't want the user to know that he is exchanging information. Well, how can you do that without knowing with whom he's exchanging information? Like, for example, you've mentioned exchanging PGP public keys over email, or you could use Raco chat, which is used by Signal, or off the record via XMPP servers.
yes.
But how does the user know with whom he is exchanging information?
Okay. Maybe I explained it wrong. Of course, we want the person to know that this is happening. He should know. They must tell us with whom they want to communicate, of course. We don't need them to know more than that. The actual communications should happen automatically. Of course, there will be some pop-up like we're exchanging information. Do you want to do it right now in the internet cafe you're in? That kind of stuff, of course. But we don't want them to tell them, okay, now here's a text string which you need to send by email to someone, or that kind of stuff. So yes, of course, the user must be informed that stuff is happening. As soon as the app communicates, the user must know that this is going on. Yeah? And of course, in the sense of transparency. But the technical details shouldn't be irrelevant. Maybe they can pick XMPP, which I like a lot. With OMemo, this stuff works. Yeah. So this would be an option. An option would be, but who uses Jabber? Yes. 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 Bitmessage, all kinds of stuff. There are a lot of possibilities. And I need to talk to the Monero guys if there really is work on this and how that's going on. Yes, the user must be informed, but the actual the act of communicating should be in the app, and the user shouldn't care. It's just also there are too many ways to make mistakes in this communication, of course. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
Do we have one last question in here? If no, I would like to thank you, Dimi, once again for coming.
Thank
It was
you.
a very nice speech, very practical.
Thank you.
And guys, enjoy the rest of the Congress. I can recommend you now, we have in Slevarna speech of Vít Jedlička, that is former president of Liberland. And there is something in Studio One. Here in Institute, there is a 1 hour break. So see you there in afternoon.